OTB is here in this extremely remote area that is home to the two-time All-Ireland Camogie Club champions, SARSFIELDS GAA of County Galway. We're here with thanks to AIB, proud sponsors of the football, hurling and Camogie All-Ireland Club Championships, #the toughest. And today I'll be speaking with the McGrath family, Siobhan and her dad and manager, Michael "HOPPER" McGrath. We're here in SARSFIELDS GAA. Hopper, tell me a little bit about SARSFIELDS. What is it like as a place? I can't believe actually how remote it is.
Well, I suppose if you pass through the villages and you're in Bullen, that's what comprises SARSFIELDS. You probably blink, you know.
And you missed it.
Yeah, they're small villages, I suppose, in East Galway. And look at hurling is the main game. It's the main sport that everyone plays at some stage. And
so is the team then, Siobhan, is it made up mostly of girls you would have went to school with and grew up with?
Yeah, exactly, that's it. It's everyone that you went to national school with between the two parishes, like between Bullen and Ewan. You would have, I suppose, every single girl that's on the team, you know, you would have known them since you were 4 or 5 years of age, and you just kind of, I suppose, grew up together and shared everything together since then.
And what does it mean then to the people of SARSFIELDS? Is this like the main thing that goes on? It's about the camogie and the hurling?
That's it. Like, as you saw yourself there, going through SARSFIELDS, there isn't much else in it really. There's not much shops or anything else. There's no real other outlets. So I suppose the pitch really is the outlet in SARSFIELDS, and I suppose that's what we were naturally drawn to as we were growing up, I suppose.
And were you always successful, Hopper? I know in 2016 was your first senior title.
yeah, 2016 was our first senior title, Ashling. We probably, prior to that, we won the intermediate in 2010. And like we'd say, in them intervening years, we would be very strong at underage. We'd have won a lot of minor championships, a lot of under 16s, under 14s, 12s, 10s. You know, when we did win the senior in 2016, our oldest player was 23 years of age. So,
wow.
You know, they kind of all came together. We hadn't kind of, you know, 6 or 7 players maybe in their late 20s or anything like that. So they kind of grew together as a team, and we might have came a touch before our time, really, in 2016. You know, we, like, seeing that we were so young, like, it was a huge achievement to win a county final that year. We did, after beating Mullion in replay. And
was this something that was talked about, like, to win the All-Ireland Hopper? Was this the thing that you'd mentioned before you won the first one in 2019? Did you mention this to the girls, or was it always just looking ahead to winning the championship here in Galway and we'll see? Or in the back of your mind, did you have, I know we can win an All-Ireland title with these girls?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Aisling. I had it in the back of my mind from a long time back, to be fair. We won it Fail All-Ireland in 2017, or 2007, sorry, where there was 6 or 7 of the older crew involved. And I suppose since that day, it got into our minds, okay, it was a long way down the road and you don't know how things are going to happen, but I know we didn't say it out loud, but in a lot of them girls' minds, that was their big ambition. Now, maybe you shouldn't be talking about that when you had no senior championship won in Galway, but I think you have to aim high, really, really. No matter what you're at in life, you have to aim high, and that's the way we did. Look, we weren't shouting about it every day, we're going to win a Club All Ireland, but really, really, that was the long-term ambition.
You have to have that ambition, though. I think you have to have that hope. And I think, Siobhan, if you have someone like your dad who sort of believes, because you need that driving force behind it all.
That's it, like, yeah. And as you said there, you know, it was, I suppose, in the back of our minds before we even had a championship won in Galway, which kind of sounds a bit crazy now, but like, it just shows if you really do try and aim high, like, you can get there. If you have, I suppose, if you've good people behind you, like, and I know it sounds a bit crazy to say, but like, we always did believe that.
We had great people behind us in the club as well. Everything was, you know, done behind the scenes for the team. It was a great kind of a family feel to the club, like, you know, outside of even the games itself. You know, there was, you know, the social activities, you know, after matches, you know, and fundraising, all these kind of things played into the bigger thing. So in 19 we beat Thomas's in the final, beat Vincent's in the All-Ireland semi-final, and eventually overcame Slaughtneil by a point.
By a point.
By a point. Look, that was massive. That was probably, look, that'll be the day, you know, that was the big massive breakthrough, and look, it was relief, and like we finally had achieved our aim.
It is an unbelievable setup here. It's on pitch.
Yeah, look at it. It's brilliant to have it, Aisling. It's a pitch that was it was Quilcha grounds that the club bought about 5 or 6 years ago and developed. And look at a lot of work went into it, and there was a great committee involved, led by Michael Kinney, Michael Cooney, and Joe McGrath, and a committee behind them. They're doing great work, and look at it's brilliant to have. Like it's a state-of-the-art pitch. The walkway around it, the scoreboard, dressing rooms, stand going up at the minute, and we're really lucky to have it.
And it's a big size pitch as well, Siobhan, so this obviously suits the way you play.
That's it, yeah. As forwards, we love this pitch anyway, and especially when we get to play in Croke Park, I think this really stands to us because we're used to playing in, I suppose, this massive pitch. It's the exact same size as Croke Park, and as you can see yourself, the surface is just unreal. So when we get to Croke Park, it doesn't feel too different to what we're used to training in.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Getting back to Croke Park. Well, I was just asking you there about the age group and the age profile within the team. So you're saying that 29 is the oldest age on the team. That's incredible, and nobody's retired or anything like that. It's actually, that's the oldest.
Yeah, that is the oldest. We'll say, I think when we won in 2016 for the first time, the oldest was 23. So that's 6 years ago now. So Niamh and Tara, they're the two oldest. Both of them are 29. I think we have one girl 28. We might have two girls 27.
Because it is such a remote place, has anyone emigrated or tried to transfer or anything like that?
Jesus, no.
I think
you wouldn't be welcome back.
I think Aisling, no, they know better than that. I think
Yeah.
around here, like you don't do these things. But no, look at some of them are coming, Dublin, Kildare, Limerick, coming in the midweek training. But there's a good committee behind the club, and people are never out of pocket, and they're only willing to do it. And we're really lucky that way.
You weren't always successful. It was a team that came up, and then you had the older girls, and some of the younger girls came through as well. But it was 2016 when you won your first senior county title.
Yeah, 2016, and it seems like a long time ago as well at the same time, but I suppose we won 2016, 2017, and lost the 2 All-Irelands from them as well against a brilliant Schlockneil side. And we came back then after those defeats in 2018, and we lost the county championship to Ardrahan, and that was a really, really low, we were very low after that win, I think, or after that loss. And I think that was a turning point for us, really. It kind of made us kind of assess where we were at. We brought in Kevin Ward after that loss as our trainer, and I think he made a huge difference, and he brought a lot to it, and it kind of kick-started us again, that loss. We went on then and won the championship in 2019, and as a result of that we won the Club All-Ireland then for our first time, so I think maybe it was the kick that we needed.
And so now you're hoping to go for 4 club county titles in a row now this year?
Yeah, look at everyone in Galway. We never get easy in Galway. In all the championship with games that went to extra time, games that went to replays. You have Mulla, Ardrahan, or Moore, Athenry, Davits are coming. Loads of clubs that'll be only too delighted to take that cup off us. But look, that's what makes it good. And yeah, we'll be going for 4 in a row, which look, it'll be a brilliant achievement. But we'll have to treat every match as a county final nearly from once the championship starts. And look, it's something to look forward to. But everyone will be gunning for us, and we're well aware of that.
And you won in 2019, you lost in 2020. Does it still hurt as much losing one? I know you already had 1 All-Ireland, but I'm sure it still hurts just as much to lose one.
Yeah, Aisling, I suppose it's so hard to get to an All-Ireland final, especially a club All-Ireland final. And it definitely hurts, I suppose. The big thing is there was such a short turnaround. We got such a chance to redeem ourselves. It's very unusual. In normal circumstances, you're usually a year waiting, grinding the teeth.
Waiting for that team again,
Yeah.
thinking about them all year.
So look at, there was only a 3-month gap. We took a 3-week break, and look at, we couldn't be thinking of Ura the Bella because we had to play Schlockneil in the All-Ireland semi-final, and ourselves and Schlockneil, there's never more than a score in 4 outings. There's never been more than a puck of the ball between us, and that's a fact. And that game went to extra time in awful conditions, and I think flashy camogie went out the window. It was dog eat dog. It was kind of whoever, I won't say whoever wanted the most, because both teams wanted it badly. we just, I suppose, had the small bit of luck on the day and got over the line by a point. So like we couldn't even think about Ortabella until we got to a position where we were in the final to play them. So after that, we'd the couple of weeks to work on it, but we knew in our hearts what we had to do. But knowing what you'd have to do and putting it into practice is two different things. But look, if we won that All-Ireland Club final by 2 points to 1, we would be more than happy. But I think what really thrilled us is the display they gave in that All-Ireland final. I think it was Camogie at its best. I think it was a game you could look at 5 days or 6 days of the week and you'd want to see it again, because from start to finish it was played as it should be played.
We're here in the dressing room here in Sarsfields. Do you have any superstitions or anything, Siobhan? Do you have to sit in the same place in the dressing room each time?
Not too bad when it comes to kind of the actual routine of in the dressing room and stuff, but I suppose like the day of a match and in the morning of it, kind of need to get my coffee in, and on the way as well. We've had a few rows with the management over it the last while. Going in the bus, they have to kind of add time for us so that we can stop off and get our coffee.
And is that all the girls, or is this you?
There's a few of us in particular, I suppose, that are more I suppose strong about it, but a good few of the girls will be the same now. They need to get their caffeine hit, I suppose.
And I'm sure it's been tough over the years. I'm sure you've had great times, but it must have been difficult at times managing your daughters. It can't always have been easy.
Oh, look at they can be the hardest at times, no doubt about it. Like I'd say there's none of them that wouldn't have a strong opinion, and that's for sure. Like, and but at the end of the day, we all want the one thing out of it, like, is to be successful as we can. And I suppose there's no question saying they'd have different opinions on different things you might be doing, and vice versa. But I think once you're all feeding into the one thing, that doesn't matter. Like, because if you hadn't people, you know, different people with different opinions, you know, that'd be no good either. Like, but oh yeah, at times they're not the easiest.
It's sometimes, Siobhan, you're walking home, you're not getting a lift home.
Yeah, geez, sometimes now it would be hot and heavy, but you have to try and park it at the door, I suppose. Otherwise, you'll never let it die out. But yeah, it can be tough sometimes. But I think the way our team is and how close we are, I think he'd speak to anyone the same as he speaks to us. Like, you know, there's no difference between whether they're his daughters or not.
Yeah. How would you describe your dad as a manager?
I suppose there's quite a few words you could use. Depends who you're talking to, they might have a different opinion. But I suppose he's very fair, I think, as a manager, and he's very, very passionate. Like, and he just wants. He's very determined, and I suppose he's instilled that in all of his players, all the way from underage right up to senior level. Like, you know, I think you see that with all the teams he's been over in Sarsfields. We're all usually determined, and. I suppose he's a massive will to win. Like, you know, I suppose that's the biggest thing with him. Like, I think he takes the defeats that we have a lot worse than any player does. But I suppose that just shows how much he actually has invested into it, the amount of time and effort he has.
And winning the All-Ireland alongside your sisters in that first one in 2019, that must have been amazing.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Like, and winning it with your sisters and your best friends, it was just. You can't actually describe when that whistle goes. It's the best feeling ever. Like, you'd love to just bottle that forever.
Yeah.
Like, I think of two kind of memories from that whole experience. It's when the whistle went, and then it's been on that bus, and you could see the massive crowd gathering in Gallagher's in Ballyfa, and just the way it is, like, you're on the bus and you're kind of going down a small bit of a hill, and you can see the big crowd outside, and that homecoming was just unbelievable. It was class.
Siobhan, do you remember who you ran to first when that final whistle went in the All-Ireland final?
Well, when the whistle went, I think I just sank to my knees first of all, because I was just so relieved. And I think I met you and I absolutely mauled him onto the ground anyway.
That's the picture that everybody sees.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I absolutely took him out of it anyway, and I think his back hasn't been right since.
And do you remember meeting your sisters and your family and your mum and everyone then?
That's it, yeah. Trying to get to everyone, it's like a whirlwind when it happens. And like, you actually just wish you were kind of took it in more, because it just happened so quick, and next thing you're in the dressing room again, like, you know. But yeah, out on the pitch straight after it happens is just the best. It's the best few minutes ever. Like, you know, you can't imagine it.
Well, you got another chance anyway. You got to do it all again in 2021, so that must have been so special.
Yeah, and it was special in a different way, in the sense, like, of course, you can never kind of replicate the first time you win anything, but that one was so special, the one that we just won, because of, I suppose, losing just back in December and then having that chance to redeem ourselves so quickly in March. It felt so special in a different sort of a way to the first one.
And Hopper, to do it again, to win the All-Ireland for the second time, as you said, it was a dream to win it the first time. To know that you've done it twice, it must be a really nice feeling.
Yeah, definitely. What it does, it kind of established you as a really good team, like, and no one wins any Club Ireland by fluke or anything like that, but to win the second one, it really kind of cements things, really. If you never caught a hurl again or achieved anything again, I think that team has left a legacy for the club.
We're here in Gallagher's of Ballyfa. This is where all the celebrations happen, Hopper?
Yeah, this is Brian and Marilla Gallagher's premises here, and they're the club sponsors. Brian has been chairman of the club for 11 years. He was chairman who won our first All-Ireland, and this is where we have all our functions. This is where we come after matches, celebrating or drowning our sorrows, as the case may be, but because this is our home socially, and it's great to have.
Brilliant function room here as well, so you obviously have had many of your dinner dances, getting your All-Ireland medals. Yeah,
nothing but good memories here, thank God. And this is where we came after we won both the Club All-Irelands. So we came back to this very room, and it's quiet now today, but both those nights it was packed with people, and it was just have nothing but good memories in here, I suppose.
Does it feel a bit surreal at times, Hopper, to think that he's actually went on and did this, like, it's such a small area to achieve what he's have?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like, there is times when you would pinch yourself and, like, and say, look, it's some achievement, but I suppose we have to be very thankful for it. Like, the rewards we've got. Like, I know there's a lot of effort gone into it, but I think that's what the girls enjoy, and that's they know nothing else.
And who would have been your, I suppose, club heroes growing up?
Olive Costello, who she's our selector now, actually, with us. She was always, I suppose, someone you really admired, because she won an All-Ireland with Galway back in 1996, I think it was, and she was full back, and I think it was actually more of an achievement for her, because she was coming from, Sarsfields weren't that strong, but she was still making it with Galway, so I think that was just showing the character that she had. So she was definitely someone I always looked up to, and we're very lucky to have her as part of the management team now. She always has a wise word for us. And then, of course, you looked at the lads, the hurling team back that won the two Club All-Irelands back to back. Like, of course, you had to look up to them. They were the first Galway team they were the first team actually in Ireland to do the back-to-back Club All-Irelands.
Wow.
And sure, they were all, like, between my uncles and him and your neighbours, and they were all involved in the team, so they were definitely someone you looked up to as well.
And Hopper, is it now some of the girls that are playing, it was their dads that would have been on that team?
Yeah, it is actually. I suppose it's 30 years or 20 years, 30 years later. Even you can go as far as the 15 girls that started in the All-Ireland final. 10 of them girls had fathers involved in 93 and 94 and on them panels, like 10 out of 15. So it's amazing, how it comes back again, down the generation, it's amazing, really.
It's Michael Hopper McGrath. Where did Hopper come from?
Oh, it goes back a while, actually. Back to when we were probably 10 or 11 or 12, like, we used to be always hurling at home, and there was a neighbour there, Matty Martin, and he'd be farming, and he'd bring in the cows every evening, and we'd be always out hurling, the rest of us, and he'd always have a word for us, and he'd be putting names in us and that, and I suppose back the years there was a Hopper McGrath in Wexford, they played at Wexford, won an All-Ireland or two, and he put that name on me, and it stuck. That's the way. That's where it came from. But
I was thinking, was it that you're hopping up and down the sideline at the girls or something?
No, it's gone back further than that. Yeah.
Do you have any nicknames, actually, Siobhan?
Yeah, I've been known as Bobby around the place. It's a bit of a random one, but when my two younger sisters, when they were younger, they couldn't pronounce Siobhan for some reason. So I don't know where they came up with Bobby, but it's stuck ever since.
It's easier to say than Siobhan for them.
Exactly, yeah. So it's kind of stuck ever since as well. So
I'm sure both mean just as much to you, but if I had to ask you, what is more sweet, a Club All-Ireland or a County All-Ireland?
It has to be a club, in fairness. You know, it's where you grow up. I know it's so cliche saying, you know, it's where you start, it's where you end, but like, they're the girls you soldiered with for so long, and I think there's a reason why I suppose it's called the toughest. You know, I genuinely believe it is, because you've so many matches, and you know, when you're with your club, it's harder, because you know, you're pulling them from every kind of county and everything, trying to get them back home, and yeah, it's just, when you win it, then it's just a feeling like no other. You can't really describe it.
But the thing is, don't get me wrong, we love to see people from our club involved with the county, and it really makes you proud to see, like we had, I think it was last year, we had 8, there's 1 senior All-Ireland medals with Galway, and you know, while club is number 1, there's no question about that. You know, we really encourage everyone to aspire to, you know, set step higher, to play with the county if they get the chance, and to see how far they can go.
Well, Siobhan and Michael McGrath, thanks very much.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks very much, Ashley.